Shut up and sit down.
All right, we're on.
Awesome.
Pretty sweet, huh?
Very sweet. In the library.
Yeah. All right. Hi, everybody. This is the Making It Happen show.
Right.
This is episode 1. I think technically episode 2, but we had technical difficulties on the original episode 1, so we'll call this one episode 1.
Okay. It's official.
I'm Matt Zimmer, and I'm joined by Lynda Joyce Brown.
Hello.
I thought maybe we should say like 10 seconds about who we are and
Okay.
and what we're doing, so that anybody that's watching might know who we are.
Okay.
So I'm Matt Zimmer. I'm a serial entrepreneur. Live in Orange County, California, and I've started a couple different companies, but started my career working for a bottled water company. Started my own single-serve wine company called Stack Tech. Left that to start a software company that ended up not working out, and have since moved on to marketing and really utilizing an event-forward marketing approach for deep tech or very technically difficult companies. So that's kind of what EE is and what we're doing now. Lynda, you want to?
Okay, in a nutshell, I enjoy selling, and it's not just sales, it is getting people what they need and want, and a little bit more. So my career has been in Nordstrom for 16 years, became a Mary Kay sales director, outside sales, for 20, so it crossed over. Moved to Orange County, met Matt, and liked what he did, and so I started changing and working with him, going entrepreneurship. That's what I've been doing. So I was passionate about watching Matt grow his business, which I thought was really cool. So I've worked with all businesses. So I've worked all 3 companies, right, and have enjoyed it. So here we are, and I love selling. And to me, what selling is giving people information so then they can make the right decision on what they want to buy, purchase, or for marketing as well.
Great, perfect. Well, so we're here on this show, Making It Happen, and what that really is to talk about, really talking about the sales process and developing a company for startups, from a startup, as a startup kind of does it. So hopefully this gives good content to people that are kind of in it right now. We're in it right now, probably going through a lot of the same trials and tribulations that a lot of companies out there are. So this is going to be something that we do weekly, if not more frequently, with different special episodes, and hopefully people get some amount of enjoyment and commiseration. And maybe can help us along the way as well.
One thing really quick is a lot of people always want to be their own boss, and so this is a great way to learn how to be your own boss. And
or maybe to discourage them from doing it.
Right, but yeah, right. But to take that risk without a risk by absorbing other people's life experiences.
Yeah.
So that's what I enjoy about this process.
Cool, perfect. Well, I got a couple topics written down, so I wanted to jump into it a little bit. And we were talking earlier a little about who our customer is, what our approach is, and kind of a little bit around like our sales tactics and stuff like that. But I thought maybe we could do a little bit deeper dive into why we're doing what we're doing. So for the audience, we'll kind of quickly describe what our sales strategy is and what our value prop is to customers, and maybe describe like why we think it's like that and how the world's changing to make that be what we think is a winning philosophy. So does that sound
Yeah, it sounds
reasonable?
perfect.
All right.
Sounds absolutely on track.
So our I guess from our kind of sales philosophy standpoint, so our customer base, who EE is going after is, I kind of described this before, is really technically difficult companies to describe. Companies that make software for driverless vehicles, artificial intelligence companies, medical device companies. Companies that aren't necessarily making an app that you and I are going to install and use immediately. It's really very technically difficult and technically savvy companies that are obviously populated with very, very, very smart people, but are missing maybe a little bit of the communication skills necessary to really be able to communicate their ideas kind of between industries. So if I'm in artificial intelligence, I can talk to other artificial intelligence people all day. But when it comes to talking to somebody that I may be trying to sell that product to, it seems like those companies have a lot of difficulty.
Right.
Have you kind of experienced the same?
Exactly. So, for example, a doctor, he knows how to be a doctor, he knows how to be a surgeon, but he doesn't really know how to get his patients. And so it's on a referral basis. So then he needs someone to educate someone how to communicate to the person who might need his services, for example.
Right.
So, and then that's where I feel like we come in, or the marketing comes in. Here's your choices. This is what would work for you. Which one works best for your business?
Sure. So I think a lot of other companies, or a lot of marketing companies today, really have gone down the path of traditional digital marketing. And traditional digital marketing really is social media marketing, email marketing, Instagram, right? Yeah. Social platforms,
right?
That type of marketing to kind of grow audience. And that actually, like from a consumer perspective, probably fairly effective for the cost.
Right.
Now, what I think we've experienced, being in like the food and beverage industry, that it's fairly direct to consumer. Maybe there may be some hurdles in the way, but you're building a brand that needs to really resonate with a consumer. Right. I think what we've seen as we've spent time in that industry is it becoming more and more difficult as people get more savvy, as the tool set gets more sophisticated. So as creating digital content like we're doing here becomes ever increasingly cheaper, as I can make a better video for less money, I can compete. More and more people can compete on the same platforms for less and less cost. And what that does is, way back when, companies could spend a fair amount of money and clearly distinguish their digital content from other companies. And so that was kind of what you watched. Coca-Cola would produce an ad, and I'd go and watch it because, hey man, like, that's cool, and it's online, it's easy, it's accessible, and all this other content is somebody just filming with a shaky camera and kind of posting it up online. Now, as we get a tool set that you can get pretty good quality, it looks like it's produced television quality. The differentiation is kind of gone away, and so breaking through in that means is ever and ever more difficult.
Right.
Would you? I mean, I know you weren't doing necessarily the digital marketing, but would you agree that that's kind of, even in your daily life? I don't know if, like, as you watch videos, do you know who they're produced by? Is it clear?
No.
Is it clear what brand is marketing these things?
And what's their intention, and what do I need to know or learn about the product or whatever they're providing? I don't know.
Right. So it's becoming kind of more difficult. So especially with like a tech company that isn't going direct to consumer, that kind of tried and true strategy, I don't believe works anymore.
Right.
Not to say that you shouldn't do it.
Right.
But like making that the cornerstone of effective marketing is really difficult.
Right.
So in these in these higher technical industries where you're still talking to experts and it's a fairly small niche industry, I think what we've found is, as we've done some of this event marketing, is the people that seem to be successful or that other people seem to resonate to are they almost have celebrity status
Right.
within those communities.
Right.
They've established them. They've zoomed out, and in some respect, they established themselves as an expert
Right.
within that industry. And when they're there and they're present, it's deemed that an expert is present.
Right.
Um,
So listen.
so listen.
So kind of like the old E.F. Hutton.
Right.
When E.F. Hutton speaks,
I have
listen.
no idea what that means.
Really? Wow. So they had a campaign when E.F. Hutton speaks, listen. So,
Okay.
wow, that's a throwback. Yes.
Google who E.F. Hutton is, because
Yeah.
I'll be doing that later.
It's like Morgan Stanley.
Okay.
So it's a financial term, and they were trying to build their brand back in the 70s.
Okay.
Yes, I could be Matt's mom. That was a big campaign.
Okay.
And so they were the expert. So that's what I feel like. Now they're going after experts in whatever industry. I would much rather, when I was in my Mary Kay world, I'd rather listen to a national sales director speak, because she was going to talk about what I needed to know in order to become a better leader, sales professional.
Sure. And
So-
the fact that Mary Kay had recognized her as a national sales director gave
yeah.
you the confidence to be like,
Right.
this person does know what does know what
Exactly.
she's talking about.
Exactly. Or
Right.
even when I was at Nordstrom, Jim Nordstrom was my boss.
Sure.
And so whenever I tell people that, they're like, whoa. I was like, he was just a guy with a name on the building that was very successful.
So I've actually been thinking about, when it comes to marketing, I think there's I don't want to say there's no skill. There's definitely like technical skill and like knowing what colors go together. I know some of that stuff sounds really stupid, but like there is like
Not to me.
there is like science behind
Of course,
some of that stuff.
yes.
There's also like artistry and stuff like that is
Right.
it is craft. So there is craft behind it, but at the end of the day, can anybody produce a video? Can anybody produce a logo that is pretty good? I would argue that they can. What I've actually been thinking about is, well, why would you want to hire a marketing company? And I started thinking about this, and when you're selling something, you're essentially selling two things at one time. You're selling yourself, and you're
Right.
selling the thing you're trying to sell.
Right.
And I do not believe you can do the same job at one time.
Okay.
I think if you're trying to establish yourself as an expert at the same time you're trying to sell your good,
Right.
it
You're
comes
exhausted.
off, and it comes off unauthentic,
Right.
and people see through that.
Right.
So if you where a marketing company comes in is, let us sell you as the expert,
Right.
so you can sell whatever you're trying to sell.
Right.
And now you don't we've established you on top of that mountain. You don't need to do that anymore.
Right.
And that's what I think, the power of having a third-party representative
Absolutely.
is like, dude, we're here to,
Right.
we agree you're the best ever. Let us tell other people that for you.
Right.
You don't need to tell other people that.
Right.
And that actually may be, when I think about social media, that may be one of the hardships of social media is it's you selling yourself at the same time as you selling your
Right.
product, right? It's
Right.
I'm posting this post that,
Right.
hey, buy this product. Like it loses that third party intermediary that can help bolster you up as really an expert in the industry.
Well, it says anytime when you have a speaker, the speaker needs to be introduced. You can't say, hey, I'm Lynda Joyce Brown,
Right.
and I'm a great salesperson, and this is why. It sounds
Right.
better when someone else is introducing me to give me my accolades and my list of things that I've done and accomplished instead of me saying it, because then it comes off
Totally.
pretentious.
No,
or
you're right. It's
ostentatious.
from someone that like Linda's done some intros for me, and she's very nice, and it's sometimes like I get embarrassed by it.
But it's
you're
important.
right, but it's important.
It's very
It is.
important.
Because then I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't
right.
want to do it. And so it may sound embarrassing coming out of your mouth.
Right.
because I would never say that about myself.
Of course.
You know.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's important. So.
Anyway, so I think where I was kind of going with this was, okay, so great. So we've kind of established that maybe digital marketing isn't, maybe it is a technique, but maybe not the right technique for these really technical industries.
I need to regress for just a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's when I introduce someone, it's the education process. So that's how I sell. So I educate them. You should listen to this person because
Sure.
this is where he's been, done that. And so that's part of the whole marketing concept.
Sure.
Is not just barfing out a logo or just saying, oh, buy Coca-Cola, but like why you should and why you want to show up, because not that this is what the cool kids do, but this is the smart people do. So
Sure.
I just wanted to get that out there
Sure.
because it's super important to me, because I don't just sell to sell. I educate to sell. And then you can make a conscious decision of left or right, black or white, up or down,
Right.
whichever works for you. So
I mean, isn't that I would almost, like, that process to me, it actually, like, so sales, I'm not like a natural salesperson. I'm a natural tech person.
he's not, I can say that.
What I kind of actually learned, I think what I've learned about sales is actually becoming a good salesperson is about establishing yourself as an expert.
Right.
So I'm on one side, I'm saying, hey, you can't do that. It's great to hire a third-party marketing company to do that. What I've learned about sales is it is possible to establish yourself as an expert. It just takes a really long time.
Right.
So if you're willing to put in the essentially unknown amount of time.
Right.
I mean, I think Malcolm Gladwell says 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I took a run the other day and I was thinking about this. And I'm like, I think it's actually more like 25,000 hours. Like, I think that number's not accurate.
Yeah.
Like, it's so insane how amount of time it takes to actually establish yourself as an expert without a hype man.
Well, and here's the thing is you have to learn all the tools.
Sure.
Of the video,
because you actually have to be an expert.
Right, and everything. And no,
yeah, I mean, you can't fake being an expert.
Right. I mean, you got to sleep. You got to rest. You
Sure.
got to be with your family.
And then you still need a hype man.
Right, totally. I mean, even if you ever go to the shows, like I went to the James Corden show, they have a guy that's audience, like getting the audience hyped
Sure.
up before they come out. So
Sure.
that's super important.
Yeah.
I think that's what we can provide, which is
Yeah.
yay you, yay us.
No, I think that's a good. I think it's a good point. Maybe just to so where I was kind of going, and maybe to kind of wrap up this conversation a little bit. I think where we've had success is in this kind of event-forward approach, where we're putting on an event that we're trying to take a traditional networking or panel or keynote,
Kind of boring,
kind of boring,
yeah, sleeper,
and hype it up, right? Make
Yeah.
it entertaining and
Right.
engaging, not necessarily for the purpose of just making it entertaining and engaging, but because people are more willing to listen, and people are more willing to keep coming back,
right,
and people are more willing to engage.
right.
Like, if there is like that amount of, I'm really happy to be here.
Right, a level of energy, feeling good about themselves. Sometimes you also need a brain break. Like, you can't just keep throwing out information to people. So that's what I feel like
Sure.
we provided at our last event. They could process the panel when the panel was talking, and then we gave a little break and then more information. And so that's kind of what we provided, which I was like, wow, that really worked.
Yeah.
It engaged people. And a lot of people wanted to come back for more,
Yeah.
which is
I'm
really
excited
good.
for the next one. I think
Yeah.
it'll be good. I think we've
Definitely.
I think we kind of upped the ante for the next
I think
one.
so. It was fun. I was even surprised when we interviewed a bunch of people to get their opinion in the end and how, I mean, I had a great time. I thought it was successful, but then to hear it out of the experts of the doctor, the brain surgeon,
Yeah.
what she had to say, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That gave me goosebumps. That
Yeah.
was brilliant.
We got anything to kind of add on kind of where we're at on our sales strategy and kind of company development?
No, just keep going. I mean, come to our next event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
MedTech Monthly in Irvine, California on August 28th. We've got a great speaker talking about destroying cancer using like fusion
Wow.
rays.
Nice.
Basically crazy stuff, man.
That
I'm pretty
sounds
excited
exciting,
for
yeah.
it, so it'll be
Totally.
cool.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
learned a lot even not being in the medical field. So
Yeah, I know, me too. It's
yeah,
weird.
repurposing drugs. I was like, wow, you can recycle drugs. Oh my gosh, that's great. So for cancer and everything. So I'm excited to share our information. That's what I'm passionate about, is educating people.
Yeah.
That's what I just love doing.
All right, cool.
Okay,
Well,
thanks.
we will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.
It's great.